With a screech, his throbbing cock held the zipper. Sabuchi looked at his 20-inch of engorged meat in dismay. There was no way he could fit it all into his stealth suit, with Robert's ample ass taunting him just a few distant Fahrenheits away. No, Sabuchi wasn't gay at the slightest, thank you very much. He was a good person. It didn't really care who wielded his rod, as long as they were as unbelievably sexy as a beloved husband. The tight military outfit emphasized his two robust hin muscles, ripe for the taking. But there was no time for that now. They came here with a purpose, a mission to secure a brighter future for all of mankind so that their 4 children, Bobby, Barbie, Benny, and Sabuchi Francisco Jr., could live peacefully, harmonious lives, no matter the cost. With a sigh of frustration, Sabuchi finally gave up on trying to zip up the suit's pants, his pride sticking out menacingly. It would be a form of asserting dominance, he urged. If not that, a distraction at the very least. Robert nodded silently in respect, and the duo headed out into the fearsome Canadian night. The dark building stretching far beyond the chemical clouds, a monstrous monolith built on broken dreams and empty promises. It was mere presence made the screen crawl and testicles shrink. As they get closer and closer, the air thickened, both men engulfed by doubt and cold sweat. It was as if the ground, silhouetted of a corrupt skyscraper, could stare into their very souls. Lesser men would have wavered, but Sabuchi's will and bone were unyielding. Motivated by justice and love, he pursued onward, urging his warframe and love partner to do the same. Finally, reaching the building's outer wall, Robert put on a tiny metallic object on his rear and lay down on the ground, face first into the ash of the dead. His heartbeat hastened, his ass tightened. He grunted and groaned. He exerted all his strength, every muscle strained to its limit. His concentration was that of a mountain, massive, but still it was not enough.
I'm not sure if I can do it. I'm sorry, sweetie,
said Robert, a single tear dropping from his drowning eyes. Hush, whispered Sabuchi. Let me help you. He kneeled beside his husband and started sensually massaging his tender, quivering body. Together, we will do it. We must, for anything is possible, with love. As his hands moved towards the more sensitive body areas, Robert's ass muscle tightened more. He felt the overwhelming pressure, the pressure of pleasure, his butt clenching more and more every passing second with every stroke of Sabuchi's mighty hands. His ass rock hard, but still the tension kept growing, until, finally, yes, with Herculean strength, Robert's butt cheeks clenched. Boom! A thunderous clap roared through the city as a grappling hook shot out of his ass. It surged upwards, piercing the diseased sky and lodging itself firmly at the very top of the building. Sabuchi lovingly patted Robert on the back, testing the stability of the climbing rope, and both prepared for the long way up. Their progress was slow but steady, high above the city rooftops. Sabuchi's antenna doubtlessly pointed to the stars, guiding them ever higher. Like the icy wind that crashed against him, Sabuchi's thoughts battered against his own mind. For 20 years he held a grudge against Analog Extremes, the company that took away his ability to enjoy video game products. It was not always so. In times past, Battle Chassis was a jewel of gaming that radiated hope and warmth. Players frolicking on blooming fields of flowers filled with sunshine together with its developers. But then something changed. Perhaps they unearthed an ancient horror, slumbering below the studio. Maybe their hearts grew dark in the shadow of corrupted greed, or maybe they just burned out. Either way, none stayed the same in the aftermath. Gamer wallets emptied and fell swoop of the microtransaction scythe. The gameplay, more of a chore than joy, once familiar developer face grew distant and sullen. Families were broken. Lives became a grotesque mockery of its former self. No more. Today, 2 gamers will rise up on the dark glass panels of Analog Extremes' citadel of the business and put an end to it. Acidic air filled their lungs as they reached the top of the wicked spire. Here lay the lair of the beast. the opulent penthouse of Steven Smirkfair, CEO of Analog Extremes and president of the new Quebec Dominion. Robert and Sabucci silently crept alongside the outdoor pool, their path lined with ostentatious statues and extravagant art pieces. Sabucci's stomach turned at the sight of this. How could have Analog Extremes fallen this far? He was plagued by questions only one person could answer. As they approached the heavy golden door, they looked at each other, faces pale and uncertain. Their rage and anger waned now that they were so close to their goal. Robert closed his eyes and cocked the pistol. The door flew open. Robert and Sabucci rushed inside. They froze moments later. Steven Smirkface was standing right then and there, in his white, endangered tiger fur bathrobe, holding a glass of wine.
"Finally, you took your sweet time getting here, eh?" said Steven Smirkface mockingly.
Robert was baffled.
How do you know we would come? We were wearing stealth suits,
he exclaimed.
"They didn't cover the entirety of your body."
Steven glanced at Sabucci. Damn, erectile hyperfunction, cursed Sabucci, looking down at his still-standing cock. Steven smirked.
"When my security notified me of your intent, I thought I would do you the honor of welcoming you personally before your untimely demise."
Robert's face hardened. His arm flew up as he pointed the pistol at Stephanie.
Yeah.
Robert shouted.
"I don't care if your lackeys kill us or not. Anything is better than living in a world where Analog Extremes are like this. In a world where Battle Chaz's Tanya has this much banking range. She sucks too much. Too much!"
Robert looked at Steven with tearing eyes and the shaking hands, looking for some kind of repriever, an explanation, an apology, anything. But Steven began to laugh. It was a cruel, condescending laugh of a man who cared not for the trouble of the ordinary people. It echoed through the empty, hard, and spiraling ferning room, growing louder and more hysterical. Bang! Then silence. For a few seconds, all stood motionless. Steven, Robert, Sabucci. Time. Sabucci's mouth was wide open, and he looked at the smoke barrel of Robert's gun. Before he could perceive what just happened, suddenly, the infernal laughing began again. Bang! 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 The laughing did not cease this time. Robert emptied all his shots into Steven's body, yet Steven laughed still. The gun dropped to the floor as primal fear took hold of Robert.
"How?"
he stuttered. The bullets left few marks on Steven's body. No blood poured out of his wounds.
Did you really think you could kill me? With a simple toy like that?"
said Steven, still laughing as he grabbed the top of his own head and pulled. Something in his head cracked and snapped as his skin started to tearing away. Robert and Sabucci stared in horror as his face ruptured open to reveal dark green scales, a pair of predatory peachy black eyes, and countless white fangs sharp as YouTuber's wit. A lizard person infiltrator! Now it all makes sense! Sabucci cried.
"Yes. I'm afraid your Earth's weapons are not quite enough to pierce my skins. As amusing as your visiting has been, I has important matters to attend."
Claws long as swords erupted from Lizard's hands as he moved to end Robert's life. Robert couldn't run. He could not even speak. He was frozen in place by Reptile's alien gaze. Sabucci looked frantically around the room for something to get out of this mess. A chair? An ugly porcelain vase? A collection of Aztec spears? No, useless. His eyes widened back to his enlarged penis. "Wait!" shouted Sabucci. "The penis might..." Fuck. "The penis mightier than the sword!" The lizard chuckled.
"What?"
"Shooting you could have never worked because you cannot fight hate with hate, only with love. The corrupt gaming empire you hated and evil build can be unmade only with our honest love. Robert, let's fuck him up to show him the true power of love." Something glinted in Robert's eyes, and something else ripped through his pants. The night was then filled with inhuman reptile shrieks that reverberated through the entire city. The next day, after such a long time, sun shone once again through the clouds. The evil skyscraper's black glasses walls were washed clean with waves of strange vicious white fluid. The lizard person's heart melted and would become an ambassador preaching of benevolence and love to his kind. Peace with the aliens was made, and in time the land will heal and gaming will be a whole again.
Fuck me, man.